Well, I'd like to show you how we use derivatives when we do kinematics. Now, the idea of taking a derivative is really a calculus idea, but the reason we want to learn it in calculus is so that we can use it in physics. Now, if you have trouble with the actual taking of the derivative, kind of the math part, there's a separate video I'll make just on derivatives. But what I'd like to do here is show you how we actually use them when we do a kinematics problem. So, once you write this problem down with me, and it's kind of a typical kinematics problem, and it's very artificial sounding, but it's just kind of what we do. So imagine we describe a particle. Now, particle is kind of a generic physicsy word that we use. That could be a car, or a train, or just some object, maybe a little lab cart moving along on your track. But we're still talking about just one-dimensional motion. So picture this as something moving back and forth like a train on a train track, and that'll keep your image a little bit simpler. So we'll say a particle moves along the x-axis. That again is just reinforcing that this is one-dimensional motion. And then what we're going to do is give a function. So instead of saying, it's got a particular velocity or particular acceleration, we're going to give a function for where it is as a function of time. This is going to be kind of a bizarre sounding function, but imagine we have this. Perhaps it's x equals 4t cubed plus 5t squared minus 10t. Let me move that into view here. So what that's saying is, if you give me a time t, in seconds usually, I will tell you exactly where it's at, what position it's at. So we could make a t table out of this and then plot it on a graph, and we could see what the position graph looked like. But here we're just doing everything without having to be burdened with making the graph. And so we might ask a series of questions like, where is it at a particular time? But that's just a matter of plugging in a time and getting the position. What you need to use calculus for are questions like this. What is its velocity at t equals, let's say, 6 seconds? Okay, so we have position information, but we want velocity information. So what we are going to do is find the velocity function by taking the derivative of the position function. It's a very critical step. To find a velocity function from a position function, we take the derivative. That's the verbiage that we use for that. So here's how we write this symbolically. The velocity, which is itself a function of time. So we'll write it with that little, like you write functions in math class, f of x or y of x. We're writing v of t. You give me a time, I'll give you a velocity. And here's how we write derivative. We write dx dt. And in physics, or in calculus, we say that is the derivative of the position function x with respect to time. A lot of lingo to get used to here, and don't let that bother you early on, because once I show you the process, that's really all that you need to know for now. I hope you're in a calculus class where you can learn exactly what this verbiage means and what we're doing and why this little trick here works. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up to each term in this function for position, and we're going to take each term's derivative. Now again, there's a separate video that shows exactly how we do that. So the derivative of 4t cubed is 3 times 4t squared, or 12t squared. And then the derivative of the next term, again, we're just going to put the operation, the plus operation, in exactly where it was in the position function. The derivative of 5t squared is 2 times 5t to the first, or 10t. And then the derivative of the minus 10t is just minus 10, and then t to the 0 we don't need to write because that's equivalent to 1. So that right there is our velocity function, 12t squared plus 10t minus 10. So what do we do with that? Well, it means if you give me the time now, I can plug it into that function, and we're going to give you the velocity. So we're going to plug in to find the velocity at 6 seconds. And I'll write it explicitly out here. This is 12 times 6 squared plus 10 times 6 minus 10. And then we'll calculate. You can certainly check my math here. I let my calculator do the hard work. And I got a velocity of 482. That's an absolutely absurd number, but this is just an exercise so you can see how I'm doing the derivative. And if the position was in meters and the time was in seconds, we would get velocity in meters per second. So there's velocity at 6 seconds. Now in a similar way, what if we're asked about the acceleration? So I'll write this question out for kind of part 2. What is the acceleration at, and maybe I'll pick a different number here. Let's say 7 seconds. All right, we're going to do with the velocity function what we did with the position function. When we took the derivative of position, we got velocity. Now if we take the derivative of velocity, we will get the acceleration function. So we would write it this way. The acceleration as a function of time is found by taking the derivative of velocity with respect to time. We're going to do the same process that we did before. So here's our equation up here, 12t squared plus 10t minus 10. So the derivative of 12t squared is 24t. And the derivative of 10t is just 10. So we'll add that. The derivative of 10 is 0. The derivative of any constant is 0. Derivative means how is it changing? And a constant is not changing. And so now we can plug into this function to find the acceleration at 7 seconds. So that's 24 times 7 plus 10. Grab the calculator here. And we get 178. And if the units are in meters and seconds, that would be in meters per second squared. Did you see that? So this process of taking a derivative, very helpful when you're doing kinematics. And we could even do more derivatives than this, but I think we're going to stop there. There are names for the derivatives of acceleration. I think we'll stop here because this has certainly gone on enough. And again, if the process of how I got those functions was confusing, check out my video that's just called Taking a Derivative. It's more of a calculus video, but it's certainly going to be helpful here for taking derivatives of these polynomial functions. So hopefully that helps you get through a lot of what you need to do with the kinematics. There is more we can do. I may make a second video. You can look for part 2 of this on my channel and see if that helps. But that'll be it for now.